The man base, Adenu Lena Vakshot, Toivlo, my dear friends, I'll give some tzedakah. And let's say thank you. First, let's say thank you. And then let's see why. The importance of saying thank you. The Baal Shem Tov would travel around the area where he was at the time. The extended travel was possible then. And meet people continuously of all walks of life. Simple people, learned people, and encourage them to say Baruch Hashem, thanking God. And instead the Pasuk says, V'ato kodesh yoshev tehilas Yisrael, and you Holy One, you God, Yoshev, you exist, your livelihood is tehilas Yisrael, the praise and the thank yous of the people. Not that God needs our thank you, obviously, just as much as a parent doesn't need the thank you from the child, but it is us who need to recognize that we have to say thank you and not to take anything for granted. In fact, the Rambam says, and we've just been learning it in the 3 chapters of the Rambam, the daily study, that when a person is in need of something, there's a specific mitzvah, a commandment to pray to Hashem, thus expressing our faith and our recognition that it is He who can help us. So just as we have to express our faith that He can help us, once He helped us, let's not take it for granted and say thank you, because we recognize that the help came from Him. Not like the famous story, the guy was looking for a parking spot and he couldn't find a spot. And then he says, God, if you get me a spot in this impossible area, I promise I'm going to do this mitzvah and that mitzvah. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a spot becomes available. Says, God, please forget it, I manage on my own. Right? So this is not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to say thank you. And the reason why I am talking about this now, we just experienced phenomenal miracles in Eretz Yisrael. And I'm saying we, although we do not live, I don't live in Eretz Yisrael, and many of you listening don't live in Eretz Yisrael. Yet we, yes, because whatever happens to our brethren in Eretz Yisrael happens to us. We are one family. Even when we disagree, and Jewish style would disagree, yet we're one family. We might have internal difference of opinions, but we're one. So we just experienced these phenomenal miracles. Think about it for a moment. Approximately 1,500 rockets launched from Gaza by those terrorists, some of them reaching as far away as Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, in densely populated areas, many of them. Yet, yes, there's been some financial losses, but in terms of loss of life, we're saddened about a Palestinian worker who got killed by a Palestinian terrorist rocket while working in an Israeli field, and his brother severely wounded. We obviously saddened about this Armenian Christian woman who got a direct hit on her apartment in Rehovot. But when you take a total picture, 2 lives from 1,500 rockets, and it's not as if they can't aim. They aim very well. But as Nasrallah Yamach Shemo said himself, God is moving these rockets in all directions. He's protecting them. So Nasrallah, the chief murderer, recognizes that it's God's hand. How much more, obviously, do we have to recognize? Apparently, hundreds fell in Gaza itself. Others, open fields. High percentage was intercepted by the Iron Dome, which this itself is a miracle, that it was 90% effective, although they never expected it to be more than 70%. Even those who fell in densely populated areas did financial damage, but no loss of lives. This is a miracle. And if you don't think it's a miracle, what is it? So when we see those miracles, I think all of us should remember to thank God. Because this reminds us, the Torah a verse in the Torah where the Torah describes when the Jews were journeying out of Egypt toward Eretz Yisrael, they had to fight different battles. Torah says, "V'lo nifkat mimenu ish." Not one person was lost in battle. That's miraculous. So I invite you, let us all say thank you to God. And for that matter, in whatever language you're comfortable with. Toda Rabba, Shkoyach, Chazak u'Baruch, Merci, Adank, Danke well, Danke schön, Grazia, Spasiba, Shukran, Köseman, and more than anything else, Hodu LaHashem ki tov ki le'olam chasdo. And you know what, God? Bring us Mashiach and we'll give you even more thank yous.